We are so excited that you are here. My name is M.A.K. I'm the CEO and founder of Cloak Inc. I am the co-host for Miss Michelle, the lady of the hour. Can we give her a hand? Because this has been some hard work. But I want to honor her, and before we even get started, before everyone, and say thank you for inviting me. I appreciate you allowing me to share the platform with you. I'm sure everyone here, all the vendors, all the speakers are so blessed to be here. And we're gonna get started. We're gonna have a good time tonight, right?
Yes, we're gonna have a good time. Right now I feel so tired, but God is my strength. I thank everyone for being here this afternoon. We're gonna have a great time. Before we start, we're gonna ask Miss Marjorie Crawford to come to open us up in prayer.
Bless your name. God, we just want to thank you. We thank you, God, for your love. We thank you, God, for your mercy. We thank you, God, for grace. We thank you, God, for another day that you've allowed us to be here alive and well and in our right minds. We thank you, God, that we could be here at this point, Father God. So many things could have happened, but because of your grace and mercy, we are here. We thank you, God, for everyone that are here tonight. Those who are on their way, God, I pray for your guidance. We pray, God, for your protection. We pray, God, for the head of this event, God, for Michelle, God. I pray that you strengthen her. I pray, God, where there is weakness, God, that you give her strength and encourage her heart, Father, in the name of Jesus. We thank you, God, for everything that shall be done tonight. Holy Spirit, I pray, God, that you will be in the midst and someone will get something out of all of this that will be done tonight. Father God, we want to leave everything into your hands as we tell you thanks in Jesus' name.
Amen. Amen.
So we want to get acquainted. We want to take some time and get to know each other. As I said, my name is M.A.K. And I wanted to tell you just briefly what Cloak Inc. is. Cloak Inc. is a socially conscious fashion brand. We've been around since 2008. And what we do is we partner innovative, creative programming and campaigns with fashion apparel. And the fashion apparel is typically casual t-shirts, sometimes t-shirt dresses, jackets, things like that. We focused on Haiti for a very long time. As many of you know, the Haiti earthquake happened. Even before then, Haiti was having some difficulties. And what we do is when we sold our apparel pieces, we gave a percentage, and sometimes 100%, to the causes of helping those in need. In 2013, something happened, and that was that we learned about a new issue that was facing Miami-Dade County in particular, South Florida, and that was sex trafficking. And as you know, you're here tonight to raise your voice with the so many others who are joining their voices to fight this battle. You're gonna learn so much tonight, and I ask that you open your hearts, you open your ears, because guess what? The solution to this issue is right in the room, and that solution is you. You have a part to play. And so what we did with Cloak is we joined our voices with others, and so now our initiative is to help fight sex trafficking here in Miami.
Hi. Let's give her a hand. That's an awesome mission. It's not easy. It's not easy. As many would say, it's a dangerous road that you're taking. But once God is with you, you don't have to worry about the danger. He'll protect you. Amen. I mean, we're not in church, but amen. It's in me, I'm sorry. I just want to welcome you guys again tonight. My name is Michelle Casey. I'm one of the co-founders of M.A.K Natural, Magnificent African Queen. We specialize in beauty products, and they're natural products. They're natural for your skin and for your hair. And we decided that, the natural movement is going around, everybody's going natural. So we decided, you know what? We need to do something more. Something that will uplift people, something that will change our community. So we said, you know what? We're gonna go and focus on human trafficking, which is something that is really dreadful. I mean, there are a lot of children that are being taken away from their homes. Mothers are selling them to prostitutions, and they have pimps that are taking over their lives. I mean, right now, our guest speakers are not here right now, but they're on their way and they will share a lot with you. But I just want to welcome everyone here tonight. I mean, it's a good movement that we're doing. This is an eyesight opening for all of us to see that this is happening, and we need to rise up to the call. So we're going to take this like a few more minutes. I know everybody was here. You know, we just got here on, time. But let's get a little bit acquainted. Let's go around and introduce ourselves. Matter of fact, get your phones out. If you have your
We're gonna have a selfie moment. Everybody knows what a selfie is, right? Okay. So what we're gonna do is you have to go around and you have to take a selfie with two people you did not come here with and that you do not know. And then here's the hashtag. Naturals, you have a voice. If you have Instagram, even if you post it to Facebook, whatever your social media is, you're gonna use that hashtag, and that way we can find those photos. And guess what? If your photo is like fantabulous, if it's like fantastic, gorgeous, we are going to post it to the M.A.K Natural Instagram. And you have Instagram and your page. So she's gonna grab that and then she's gonna post it, so you may be a premier face on the M.A.K Natural page. And there are a lot of followers. So if you're trying to get known, this is the way. So here's what we're gonna do. Remember what I said, two people that you didn't come here with that you don't know. And you're gonna do the hashtag, what? Right, all right.
Okay, now we have got acquainted with each one. I want to say thank you to our sponsors. South Florida ENT Associates. That's Dr. David Jasir, Dr. Mark Sukenick, and Dr. Robert Mallory. They're ENT doctors, ear, nose, and throat. We also want to thank Napa Auto Parts, Life and Hope Ministries, Cloak, Ouch Girls, Walker Chiropractic and Wellness Center, Purple Wings, Quick Print, Echo, Angeline Photography, Natural Trendsetters, Renee and Renee Reyes, MD, the Life of Freedom Center, M.A.K Consultant, Carol Galloway, Noseworthy Creations, Nadia Lynn, Dudro, Ebenezer International Outreach Ministries, Fantastic Photos, Creative Looks by Anita, OWJF, and Nature's Coolers, and the Family Dentistry, Dr. Roxanne Cabrera de la Alonso. Let's give them a hand. We also have our vendors in the house. We also have the vendors here tonight, this evening. Creative Looks by Anita. Let's give them a hand. Nature's Coolers. There. Natural Lifestyle. They're right there. M.A.K. and Bomb Beauty Place.
So we're gonna have a musical selection, live performance by Nida. I got it. She's been working with me, y'all, and she's so patient. Nida Lynn. I'm gonna read her bio here. Nida Lynn is a singer-songwriter of Haitian descent, born and raised in South Florida. With a passion for inspiring the masses through lyrical, heartfelt tunes, Nida is always on the songwriting grind. With nothing but her acoustic guitar and soothing voice, Nida can be found serenading audiences of all sizes with original work or leading worship at various spiritual-based events. Her musical style can be described as indie folk, neo-soul with a strong CCM influence. To learn more about Nida Lynn music, visit nidalynn.com or check out her album, Ready to Fly, on iTunes, Google Play, and Amazon MP3. So welcome, Nida Lynn.
Let's give it up.
Yeah, hi everybody, how are you guys doing?
All right.
Awesome. Like they said, my name is Nida Lynn. This is my friend Patrice. She'll be joining me today to sing. And like they said, I'm a singer-songwriter and I love writing music that inspires. I love music that helps you. When you listen to it, you feel better about yourself and you feel hope. And so today, there couldn't be a better event for me to come than one that allows us to realize that our voice matters, and what we say and what we do in this life can make somebody else's life better, right? So the song that I'm going to sing first is called Always Hope, and it's about just knowing. It was actually inspired by one of my best friends, and she happens to actually be here, Christina. If you want to wave, raise your hand. And Christina is just a really good friend of mine, and it was a time where I wanted her to know, listen, your voice matters, you're enough, and you're beautiful. Don't listen to the world that tells you you have to do and be and do all these other things. You matter, and you can help out somebody else too. So without further ado, this is called Always Hope. Admit
up for the singer, please. Alright, so. Y'all hungry, ain't you? Y'all hungry? Me too. Alright, people, so we have Carly Blake coming up. She is author, speaker, spoken words artist, dramatist, inspired individual by encouraging them to lead lives of spiritual, physical, and emotional wholeness. She is also a master's level mental health professional and certified personal trainer, fitness instructor. Carly has performed dramatically at a variety of venues. She also conducts relationship workshops and has presented at numerous health wellness events. She is a co-author of the book entitled Treasure of the Heart, a collection of inspiring poetic works. Carly Blake.
Good evening, everyone. How you doing all tonight? All right. You know, when I think about the title of tonight's event, Naturals and Using Their Voice, I like to play with words, so I think about the word voice, and I took a little spin on it. V-O-Y-C-E, voice. Victory over your current circumstances, your circumstances every day, V-O-Y-C-E. All right, so I want to tell you a little story. Young girl, 13, clueless and green, totally blind to the fact that within her resides a queen. Her home life, broken. Kind words barely spoken. So some smooth-talking dude feeds her soul with his food, only to toss her like some token. You see, he wears the clothes of a sheep. Day and night he creeps. He stalks her, sweet talks her, only to pull her into the deep. He's driven by power and greed and plans to use her for his lustful deeds. So he charms her and disarms her with fancy gifts, pills, weed. Another daddyless daughter, cunningly led to the slaughter. She moves her hips. He licks his lips because now he knows he's got her. Now she's posted on some site. Grown men beaming with delight. Click after click, they choose and they pick who they'll end up with for the night. So parents out there, please beware. Douse your daughters with love and care, or else she may fall prey and be led astray and end up in a hellish nightmare. You know, and a lot of times our young girls become victims to this because they don't know the truth. They don't know their true value. They get caught up in lies. Lies, lies, lies. Don't believe the enemy's lies that tell you your value is found in your thighs. You see, you're worth so much more than just your physique. You're precious, priceless, and unique. You're vital, vivacious, and full of vigor. Defined by your mind, not by your figure. So like a mystery to a sleuth, like Boaz in pursuit of Ruth, you search God's word for his truth and allow it to purge you, purify, and cleanse so that you can see yourself through the Creator's lens. Amen?
Amen.
One more thing here, you know, you have to know your worth. That is just so paramount. You have to understand that you're a woman of worth. So as a new day dawns and the sun peeks over the earth, I want you to look at your mirror and say, wow, I am a woman of worth. Smile at your Creator and give him praise for your birth, for he has formed and fashioned you into an awesome woman of worth. A woman of worth is not easily accessed. She's precious, priceless, highly favored, and blessed. A woman of worth allows very little to faze her because, you see, her value has been assessed by the world's greatest appraiser. You are that woman of worth. So walk confidently throughout the earth.
Allow God to transform you and let him do it now. So you can smile to yourself and simply say, wow. Thank you.
All right, now we have a beautiful lady in the house. Who's a beautiful lady? You guys not beautiful? All right, we have a beautiful lady in the house. Her name is Dr. Vanessa Walker, known as Dr. V. Dr. V is concerned about the entire you, the mind, body, and soul. She is a chiropractic physician. She's a minister of the gospel and an educator. Her mission is to assist others in transforming their lives. Through her organization, Transform Your Life, LLC, she is focused on the things that concerns you. Healthy living, relationships, families, finances, being the best that you can be, and more. Healthy living is the pinnacle of it all for Dr. Vanessa Walker, Dr. V, because without health, the remainder will be difficult to attain. Let's give it up for Dr. V.
Good evening, everyone. Yay! I got excited. I know this lady in the front. So, good evening, everyone. Are you excited to be here? You should be, because you decided to come out this evening, so you should be. Again, my name is Dr. Vanessa Walker, and I'm going to talk just a little bit about health and wellness today, right? We have our own perspective of what health should be sometimes. So we're just going to go through a little bit of fundamentals of keeping our body together, keeping our system right, even if it's for the sense of hair growth, if it's for the sense of just doing one little thing to make a healthier step towards whatever goal that may be. That should always be the bottom line for making sure that we're doing steps for a healthy living. So I'm a local chiropractic physician. I have an office here, well, here locally, but in Miramar. So Miramar Parkway in Douglas. I've been in the chiropractic field for over 14 years. I won't tell you my age. I look 14, I'll take it. These braids, yes. Hairstyle, the change will give you life. But yeah, so in the sense of health and wellness, there's so much that we can do that we're not thinking to do. So when we look good, we feel good, we do good, right? So some fundamentals of health is, for example, making sure that we're taking enough water in our body. All right, why do we want to take additional water in our body? Why? For hydration, to flush our systems, for detox, because it helps with to detox our liver, but the basis of it all is the majority of fluid in ourselves is water. So we want to make sure that we're replenishing our system, right? And when I say these things, I'm going to tag it right back to your hair and your well-being. You want your hair to glow, you want it to shine, you want to make sure that the cells are hydrated for that to be possible, right? So beyond taking in a lot of water in our system, we got to make sure of what we take inside, right? So what are we going to take inside our system that's good for us? Y'all can talk to me. Even the stuff that you don't do, it's all right. Just talk to me, make you look like you do it, right? So, vegetables, yes. Fruits, good protein. Not farm raised, but organic if you can. What else? Good fats, so nuts, almonds. Show of hands, when you buy the almond container, how much do you eat in one sitting? Okay, don't show hands because you might be embarrassed. I used to do the same thing. You get the almond container, you're like, look, I'm hungry, you eat the whole thing. One sitting, it's so good. I used to, let's tell the truth. You know how they say in church, tell the truth, shame the devil? I used to do it until I knew better, and that's why I'm here, so that we know better. We're not supposed to eat over 6 pieces at one time. What? 6 pieces? That can't do nothing for me. 6 pieces, because it's fat. So you want to make sure you are limiting the fat intake, and even if it's good fat, a lot of anything becomes bad, right? So we're going to make sure we put good things in our body. Now, when you think about putting good things in your body, do we have to do that 100% of the time, always? You get bored and you're like, man, this food tastes bad, and I'm always eating this stuff that I really don't like. Look here, I like red velvet cake. So, I think I made this rule for myself, that try to do it 90% of the time, and that 10%, Thanksgiving coming up, yes, so you want to make sure you're putting good things inside your system. So we have water, we have the food that we're going to put in our body, but we have to be very diligent about what goes in, right? What goes in shows up. It does, it shows up. So if you're not replenishing your system, if you're not, replenishing your system with quality, right? So the things that you eat, the things that you drink, coffee drinkers, soda drinkers, calorie wasted drinkers, tea is good, but make sure when you're sweet, not sweet tea, you just add the sweet tea, that's sugar and water, right? So you want to make sure you're putting good stuff in your body. So tea's good, just be specific with the tea. Green tea is good for you. So now the things that we put in, so we talked about the leafy greens, we talked about quality meats, we talked about make sure good fat, protein, so on and so forth. How do we identify those things? The nutrients, that means you got to read the labels. So when you go to the grocery store and you get that one label that says, and you're like, what is that? I can't even pronounce it or know what it says. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Right? Because guess what? Your body can't pronounce it or make sense of it either, or digest it for it to come out of your system. Leave it alone. So that's your simple go-to. Make sure you are shopping outside aisles and less inside aisles. What's on the inside? The good stuff. The crackers, the cookies, the sweets, the so on and so forth. And remember, just make the outside your 90% and the inside aisle your 10%. I'm not telling you don't eat that cracker. Thanksgiving coming, you want to sit down with your family and you're like, look, can I get one of Patti LaBelle pies, right? I hear that's the big fad right now, Patti LaBelle pies. You want to taste a piece. That's that 90%, but make sure that's the 10%, but make sure the 90% remainder that you are replenishing your system properly. What else is something that we can do towards our health? We can move. We can move a little bit. Rather than the daily just, oh, I got to go here and there, we just move a little bit more. How do we move a little bit more? Because look, I've never exercised in my life and I really want to start. So, do I have to sign up to a gym? And no, I have exercise in my life. That's not my quote. I have exercise in my life. But for the person who hasn't and wants to know where to start, they're saying, I haven't. I haven't exercised before in my life and I want to know where to start. Do I have to go sign up for a gym, get a personal trainer? Do I have to start walking around my entire block every single day? No. The reason why I say no is because when you take this big piece of the pie, you realize, oh, that was too much one time, I don't ever want to eat that again, right? And same thing with exercise. If you decide to do everything in one day, tomorrow, then you're going to be coming to my office for real. With back pain, shoulder pain, all types of ache, because you're not going to want to do it again. Because now everything's sore, and I didn't even lose 1 pound when I did all of that, so I'm done, right? So we got to make sure that we're moving, because moving allows the blood to circulate in the body. How that ties back to your hair, all these naturalists in the house know that when you have the blood circulating in your body, what happens? It circulates in your head too. It's attached to your body, right? Can we say yes for that? Don't shake our head. Yeah, it's right. So blood circulates through the body, you want to increase. But also there's other benefits, because lose weight, health, we have a lot of preventable diseases that we're not preventing. Diabetes, preventable, right? High blood pressure can be prevented. but we don't. So what's the simple steps behind working out? Raise your hand if you have one song that you call your favorite song. I don't care if it's gospel, not so gospel, kind of shouldn't nobody hear this, a little bit ratchet. I don't care, as long as you got one song.
Yes.
Do you have one song that you can say, that's my favorite song?
Yes.
A little bit upbeat, yes? What if you put that one song in? Picture this in your mind, right? Before the day starts, even if it's the evening, you put that one song in. And you put that one song in, and you just get to move a little bit, right? Because that's your favorite song. So even if they turn on the radio, or if you put the one CD, you go to move a little bit. Typically one song's about what, 4 minutes? So move for 4 minutes. But make sure you feel your heart beating a little bit when you're moving, right? And that's just 4 minutes. Even if it's a walking place, you're moving a little bit, but you're doing something to cause the heart to beat a little bit and the blood to circulate a bit more. So then after you do that one song a little bit, you realize I can do 2 songs. I can play my one song back to back.
Yes.
So now you got 8 minutes. You got 8 minutes of increasing your heart rate. Man, I got this down. So let's add that song or find another song, and now you have 12 minutes. So it doesn't have to be this big, heavy, mundane thing. How do I start? Start somewhere. Just start moving. Just start moving to your favorite song. Play the song 2 times. Do it every other day until you can increase. And when you take a little piece of the pie, then the pie becomes so much more edible for you to take the whole pie. But you got to take step by step. And if you don't, I've started a lot of, let's go in. You know, I'm going to do this. I'm working out every day for the next 25 days, morning and evening. It just doesn't, right? There are people who can, but if you're starting, don't do that. Find your comfort zone. I see these beautiful ladies smiling with me. Y'all look like y'all buddies. Find a friend. Look at girlfriend, we're going to do this together. We want to get our health right, so me and you, we're going to walk, or we're going to dance to our favorite song for an X amount of time. Which one of your friends would say no? They shouldn't be your friend, right? Okay, so we're gonna make sure we're taking in the water. We're gonna make sure that we are eating the correct food, and we're gonna make sure that we're being active. But beyond that, here's a fundamental thing. We're gonna start being nice to people, right? We're gonna try to figure out how to release the stress out of our lives. So with that, we start smiling, being nice, figure out how we can meditate, relax. If that's worship for you, get in your worship zone. You gotta release the stress. If you don't release the stress, it show up all over you. Most of the diseases that you find today is stress related. Absolutely stress related. High blood pressure, diabetes, sometimes the food that we put in our body because of stress. Cancer, yes. Do you remember when nobody knew about cancer? Remember back in the day it was like HIV. Oh my God, HIV. Nobody really cares about HIV right now. They do care, but it's not as prevalent and known and in social media. But cancer, where cancer came from? Right? No one knows. We gotta stop stressing ourselves, and also the food that we put in our body. Is the pollution, the food that we put in our body, that all ties into this. So you have to make sure you're taking itty bitty steps. So what's itty bitty steps towards your health? Evaluate how much water you drink now. If you drink 4 glasses, add 1, 5, and grow from there, right? If you're doing a little bit of exercise now, add something, right? So that you make sure that you're growing from there. If it's the fact that you're only doing 3 minutes, add 4 minutes 3 times a day. Start somewhere. If now you're eating all junk food, take out the soda. Take out the sugary drink. Just one step. Because one step towards, it'll make you feel better. And then thereafter, if you live an absolutely stressful life, we gotta figure it out. Start being, and I won't say not being nice to people is the only thing, but figure out where that stress lies and start to slowly eliminate that. I promise you, not only will you look better, you're gonna feel better, you're gonna want to do better, because at the end of it, our health is our wealth. Who agrees with that? Yeah. If you don't have your health, you can't do nada. Your body is absolutely your temple. And why is it absolutely your temple? Because you only get one of you. You get in a car accident, you can get a new car. Something happened to this, I'm not sure how you replace it. Right? So that's why we have to take the steps towards that. And in being healthy, it benefits us all the way around. Our hair health, our total well-being of health, keep us away from disease, keep us away from, I won't say traumatic, but keep us away from those things that are preventable, right? So I want to remind you that all you have to do is take little steps, and that you must remember that you have one temple that cannot be replaced, and that your health is your wealth. So if you plan to do something here on surface Earth, you got to make sure that you're taking care of that one vehicle you have, and that you remember that your health is your wealth. Yes. Right? Yeah. So small steps. My health is my wealth, and I want to look good, to feel good, to make sure I'm doing good. Yes. Dr. Vanessa Walker, thank you.
Excuse that. Thank you so much, Dr. Vanessa Walker. I think the 4 points that I really picked up from this was what? Water. I wrote them down over here. We're taking notes, doctor. Water, food, being active, and stress relief. And I think those components, I think all of us can grow in all those areas. And I think for me personally, the one is water, because I forget to drink water. I'll drink a half a cup of coffee or some tea, but I forget to drink really a glass of water. And so I think for all of us, I think if you don't do anything, which I hope we do it all, I made my notes, that we start with that water, especially us as naturalists, and just being health conscious, water. So we're gonna move into a time where we're gonna have some demonstrations. I would love to welcome to the platform Bond Beauty Hair and Noseworthy. They're gonna do some demos for us. And we're going to welcome them to the platform. And then
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again. I'm here to do a simple demonstration on how you can straighten your natural hair without putting heat on it. I will need a volunteer from the guest. I'm gonna quickly do the straightening. It's gonna be this demo is gonna be in 2 parts. First, I'll do the straightening, and then she'll go sit for a while. We leave it on, and then we come back and show you the result. Thank you. And this, you can use a regular thread, but there's a special thread we use in Africa. And then this is African peak. It's easy to do the pack. So I'll be needing just those 2 things.
In the meantime, we're gonna have another selection by Lady B.
Okay, hello again. So this works out perfectly because she's working on her natural hair there. So I want to share a couple of natural hair pieces with you guys. Is that all right? All right. Soft like cotton, strong yet thick. A playground where my fingers frolic. My palms prance over textured terrain, hair densely dispersed, no need for Rogaine. A field full of locks for me to twist and play. A tribute to my heritage I'm proud to display. Springy spirals, squishy like sponge. In and out, my comb's teeth plunge. A creatively crafted configuration of curls, more plenteous than an ocean filled with pearls. You see, motherland strands that have been woven into tapestry, a beautiful, glorious crown of ethnicity. It's something that, it's a great aspiration, and what I call my affirmation. But the thing about it is, you see, I wasn't always feeling myself, as they say, when it came to my natural hair. It was actually a journey for me. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about that journey right now. It's called Free. I'll never forget that stormy summer day when old things would soon pass away. I walked up into that barber shop. I sat in that chair and my heart screamed, stop. You see, first came his shears, then rolled my tears, because I became consumed by the fears that surrounded me for so many years. But at this point, it was too late to stop. And it was now time for that great big chop. Inch by inch, my hair began to drop. Plop, plop, plop. But as the crystal liquid flowed down my cheeks, a strong voice from within began to speak, and he said, these tears that roll shall cleanse your soul. So don't worry or be afraid, for you are fearfully and wonderfully made. So what started out as a moment of grief has slowly evolved into relief, which has given way to the realization that I'm an awesomely made creation whose thick, lush, black hair is not a disgrace, but something to be cherished, nurtured, embraced. You see, this ain't about some fleeting trend. This marks a new beginning, but also the end. The end to anguish, agony, and stress, stemming from a painful chemical process. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Reclining back into neck groove sinks, applying that chemical that stinks. And isn't it ironic, don't you think, that we call these chemicals that stink relaxers? It sure didn't leave me feeling relaxed. As a matter of fact, it left me feeling kind of taxed. Feeling physically and emotionally drained, enduring that intense fire-like pain. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not perm hating. How could I, after years of participating? But I'm glad to be through with hours of waiting. Sitting around at the beauty salon, before you know it, your whole day is gone. But see, I'm glad to be in this season because God is the only one I'm concerned with pleasing. You know, I'll never forget when I first got my big chop, the comments or the nonsense, oh, it had to stop. Don't worry, it will grow back, as if this was some knowledge that I lacked. And my favorite one, what about the men? You know how they love hair. Well, frankly, my dear, I don't give a care. Because if he is truly God's intended soulmate, he's going to love me long, short, curly, or straight. Okay? So I am free. Praise the Lord, I'm free. No longer bound and no more perms burning me. My hair is nappy and And I am so happy. Praise the Lord, I'm natural and I'm free. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. How are you guys doing tonight? Good. Okay, my name is Deandra Nosworthy. I'm the owner of Nosworthy Creations, and I'm here with my glam divas. Here's Andrea. She works with me alongside Shanice, and we're gonna show you how to do a nice, quick tutorial for every day. See, she already has something on, so we're just gonna add to it, you know, because we don't have a lot of time in our day. We have kids, we have functions to go to, so we don't have hours and hours to do our makeup. So we're gonna do a quick look for you. I know a lot of people are interested in doing eyebrows, because that's one of the most popular topics that's going on. But it's true, eyebrows are very important, because that's what frames your face. And without proper eyebrows, I feel like everything just looks dysfunctional. So we're gonna start off with that, and then we're gonna do a nice highlight and contouring. Nothing too dramatic to be drastic, but to frame your face, everybody just need a little bit of contouring and highlighting here and there. And then we're gonna finish off with some nice lips and natural eyes, okay? But if you have any questions, feel free to come by our table. And we also have a raffle going on for $1. You can enter to win a free or complimentary makeover. Hello? Can you hear me? Really? Oh, no. Okay, so first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna fix her eyebrows. And what you wanna do is use a spoolie pencil or brush, and you just comb to her natural shape of her brows. Alright, so my favorite eyebrow filler is from Anastasia Beverly, and basically this is like a dip brow pot, so you can't really go wrong with this. You know, I like a brown chocolate for her because her hair is kind of like a brownish color, so you don't want to go too dark. You always want to be 2 shades lighter than your hair, okay? Because if you go too dark, you're going to look too drastic and everybody's going to see you from over there, okay? So I like to go with this one because it's pretty natural, and I don't like it to be too much. And basically with this application, we're gonna do nice baby strokes. You don't want to draw a line. That's a no-no. Don't ever do that, okay? So first thing first, you brush it up, get the brows in place to her natural shape. And basically how I like to do it is start off at the bottom. I don't know if you can see it, but you basically start from here and kind of frame the brows where you want it. And you see the nice little strokes I'm doing? It's kind of hard for you to see all the way back there, but basically, you just want to take little baby strokes. And the whole goal of this is to measure your brow to be, from the way you're supposed to do it is to take the brush and start from the middle, from the tip of your nose here, and it shouldn't pass this line. As well as the arch. If you want to have a proper arch to shape your eye, you want to take the tip of the brush and go like right in between where your pupil is, and it should stop right there. Okay? Which her eyebrows are shaped pretty well for her. And then you don't want to go too far either, okay? So you take the brush and you just take it towards the tip, and it's perfectly fine for her, okay? So mostly with her, I'm just filling in her brows to make it look a little fuller. And I'm just gonna leave one side not done, and then one side done so you can see the difference of how simple and easy your eyebrows can be. Okay, and then to conceal it. A lot of times we don't have time to get waxing or tweeze our eyebrows, so this is my little trick. A concealer could do miracles, okay? Not only it highlights your eyebrows, but you can also camouflage the little baby growth of hair coming through, and you look like you have a brand new wax job, okay? So if you use a proper concealer, I like this M.A.K one, but if you want to go with something less expensive, I also like this Coastal Scents here. This Coastal Scents palette is really good as well. But the one thing I do like about this palette, it has like a color corrector in there. So if you do have dark circles or any kind of discoloration in your face, you can put it on the location and pretty much that discolorated area will go away. But this one here is just fully different concealers for different people, but it's a little less expensive, but it's really good coverage, okay? It's like night and day with prices and the amount that you get, you know? So definitely you can visit them. That's Coastal Sense. That's one of my favorites. But anyway, so with this one, we're gonna take the lighter shade. And you don't wanna go, as far as a highlighter, you don't wanna go too light, because that's the problem a lot of people have. They go too light, and then your eyebrows look drastic. And then everybody know your eyebrows was done. And then it doesn't look properly finished, you know? So you just want to take a couple shades lighter, 2 shades lighter than her skin tone. And I like to start from the top. And then the same thing on the bottom. Sorry. How natural that look without it being too highlighted or dramatic, okay? So it's a simple look that you can do with your eyebrows on a daily basis. You don't have to do too much to get that nice, clean, finished eyebrow. You just need to buy the right products and, you know, use the right things for it to not look crazy. All right, and then what we're gonna do, I'm gonna do a quick contour and highlighting on one side. But first, I'm going to use this color corrector here. The orange is a color corrector that helps with discoloration, like dark circles, if you have a dark purple, if you're not sleeping at night, or you're working too much, you have long hours. This right here is your best friend, okay? This, no, it doesn't, the skin corrector doesn't matter your skin color. It matters what is going on underneath your skin. So if you have the discoloration, this is good. And there's different ones. There's green, there's yellow for all different kind of problems. Like if you have rosacea or different things, there's a purple that helps with the redness and stuff like that. So every shade has a different purpose. Also, I like to put it, I don't know about you, but sometimes you get a little shadow on top of your lip, you know, the little growth. So I like to put a little bit of hair there too. And around the lip area sometimes can be a little dark. So I'll put the corrector there as well. Okay. Alright, and then I'll finish up when you guys come back.
So we're going to come back. They're going to keep working. We see a lot of progress happening over here. This is going to be beautiful. And then we're going to come back and we're going to see the finished work of the makeup. So I'd like to take a moment and introduce, coming all the way from Nevada, Toshia Shaw. I'm going to read her bio. I am just amazed that she's here. Because as someone who is just aware of what's going on and trying my best, and along with so many others, George of Life for Freedom Center and I can't, Jamaro, I got it. So many of us are working, putting effort forward into putting a stop to this issue. And you know, many people don't know that Miami-Dade County, South Florida, is number 3 in the nation of sex trafficking incidences. And that's what personally got me involved. You know, being involved in other things and saying, okay, I'm gonna help the world. But you know what, oftentimes the help that's needed is right here in our own backyards. It's right here in our own homes. Many people don't know that these circumstances are happening in your neighborhood. There are houses that look like natural, normal houses that these situations, children starting at as young as 13 and even younger, are being lured into this underworld. And so I want to read Tashia's bio. It's amazing. And then we're going to welcome her and hear from her what her life and what she's doing. Tashia Shaw, MBA, is a behavioral health expert and author that has coached women and girls through drug addiction, sexual assault, abuse, and other traumatic experiences that shape the way they view themselves and the world around them. She is founder and executive director of Purple Wings, a 501c3 multicultural nonprofit organization whose acronym stands for Women Inspiring Noble Girls Successfully. In addition to her work helping young women in the Las Vegas, Nevada area, she is also founder of T3SL LLC, a business consulting firm that serves nonprofits, small healthcare organizations, and the criminal justice system. Having overcome her own personal encounters as a triumphant survivor of domestic violence and sex trafficking, Tashia is able to understand and empower others in a very unique and personal way. A life coach and mentor, she often calls upon her own life experiences in an effort to relate and connect with the girls and women she serves. In 2006, she faced the heartbreaking reality of girls in her community being trafficked in staggering numbers. This was a turning point, and she felt compelled to start speaking up about the issue of domestic minor sex trafficking in Las Vegas, Nevada. She has gotten tired of standing by. She had gotten tired of standing by watching girls being ignored, treated as if they were invisible. She decided it was time to give these ladies a voice and a choice. I'm going to let her tell her story. Let's welcome her. Please give her a hand. Tashia Shaw.
Hello. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. I am so country. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. So I don't even need a mic because I got a big mouth. So if you would, please give me just a little bit of attention because this could be the matter in between life and death for somebody in here right now. Yes. So it's very important that the young people in here, I want to see hands of people that are between the ages of 12 and 18. Put them up if you're between, don't be shy, boo. 12 and 18. Okay. All right. So if you are in between the ages of 12 and 18, I need to ask you a favor. Come up here a little closer. Because I need to make sure that you hear everything that I have to say. It's extremely important. And so if you have young children next to you, under the age of 12, and you are sensitive to real talk, meaning that you can't handle some of this that I got to say, you might want to send them out of this room for the next few minutes. Because what I have to say is real. I don't hold anything back. But they should be used to it because I'm sure some of them watching the Ratchet Housewives. Yes? Don't play no games. Okay. Like she said, my name is Toshia, and I started a nonprofit for at-risk girls between the ages of 12 and 18 back in 2010. I hear some mindless chatter, and I need some attention. Okay? So I started this nonprofit for at-risk girls because, like she said, I was doing an internship at a local runaway shelter. And I saw girl after girl, primarily under the age of 16, come across the threshold, drunk, high off of things called black tar heroin. How many of you in here know what black tar heroin is? Yeah, that was the first time I even heard of that drug. But heroin is very prevalent today in our communities. Not only marijuana, but heroin. That's a heavy drug. That drug dates back to like the 60s, I think. That's a serious drug. I had 13-year-olds high off of heroin coming to the runaway shelter. I had girls coming in that were stark naked from the top to the bottom of their feet with nothing on, shackled in handcuffs. And I had to find something to put them on. The police did not care. They threw them in the back of the car and brought them to the runaway shelter just as they were. Under the age of 15. That's what I knew. I had to speak up and do something about it. Now, you see me standing before you looking all polished. At least I tried a little bit. I might be a little ash. That's all right, honey. A little Vaseline, she hooked me up earlier. Yes. But back in the day, it wasn't so. See, back in the day, between the ages of 12 and 18, I was an at-risk girl. I don't know about y'all, but I have a father that served in the Army, and he is a Vietnam veteran. How many of you know some Vietnam veterans? Let me see some hands. Y'all got to talk back to me. I don't do all this nodding. Okay, holla at your girl. Vietnam veteran. So I think you know what that means. Vietnam veteran means somebody coming back with post-traumatic stress disorder. That is PTSD in the black community. That means violence, domestic violence. That means slaps across the lips and a kick in your groin. That meant for me as a young girl, a gun being cocked against my head when I didn't even know what was going on. That was being meant for me to be called a black bitch and a slut at the age of 11 when I was still playing with Barbie dolls. But y'all don't hear me though. That began my journey into negative descent. See, I didn't have a praying grandmother for me. My grandmother was too busy calling me a black-ass heifer. Told me that I was nappy-headed and ugly. That's what I heard growing up. Okay, domestic violence was very prevalent in my home. And so immediately after graduation, I decided I would go into the military because I wanted to do something with my life. I lost my best friend to murder. She was shot 5 times in her back by a mutual friend who was my friend as well, but that was her ex-boyfriend because she wanted to leave him. Back in those times, we didn't have Facebook and Twitter. But I'm gonna speed you up to right now. The girls that come through the doors of my nonprofit have 3 and 4 Facebook profiles, Mom and Daddy. You think they have one for you. They have one for classmates. They got one for they friends. Y'all know? How many of the young girls up front know that their friends have more than one Facebook profile? Put your hands up. Right. So if the parents didn't know that they knew people with more than one Facebook profile, guess what? There's a problem. Young girls as young as 12 are being pimped out in the streets by family members and by their peers in school. Yes? How many of you know young ladies who are prostituting themselves right now? You might not want to admit it, but it's true. It's just about everybody got somebody who's hooked on drugs, pimping, and hoeing in the streets. Y'all might not want to call it that, but that's what it is. Because young girls desire to get things, nice things, shiny things. They want to dress just like Portia on the Housewives. They want a Louis Vuitton bag and they want some 22-inch bundles down their back and some nice Louis Vuitton shoes on their feet. Yes? I like that word, yes. But back in the day, back in my time, I didn't know what sex trafficking meant. We didn't have community forums where people were bold enough and brave enough to talk about past experiences to come out. I wish they had. Because if they had, maybe I knew what to do to save myself because I am a survivor. That's right. Not as 12 and 18-year-old young girl, but I'm talking about a grown woman who had served her country in the United States Air Force for 7 years. Got out, went back home to Memphis, Tennessee. I was ready to go home. And I felt home was safe. Memphis? So I took myself out on a night on the town. Got all cute. Didn't know anybody, but I had my own ride. I drove to the nightclub, pulled up to the front, hopped out of my ride, and a couple of cars over, I saw him sitting in the driver's seat, and then his friend was slumped all back. Y'all know how the dudes do, rev, get the car seat cocked all back. So when I got out, I heard psst, psst. Okay, don't act like y'all ain't never heard that. Psst, psst. See, I don't answer to psst, psst. But when I saw him, psst, psst, oh, okay. Hey. I thought I came up. Nice ride, he was cute, pearly whites. Okay, this cool. Hey, young sister, you don't want to go in there. You good. Why don't you come with us? We're going to go and have breakfast. Well, I got my own ride. I didn't get in his car. So I jumped in my car and I rolled on to the place to have breakfast. We eating and talking and talking and eating. And he listened to every word I said real intently. We talking about the hand, just like this brother right here. How you doing, brother? With the hand just cocked up, just listening to every word I said. So what do girls do when dudes act like they're interested? Talk to them. What we do? Flirt. Oh, somebody said flirt. Okay, I hear you. Yeah, talk. A lot. Tell them your whole life story. And see, I just got back to Memphis and I'm a single mom and I don't have a job and I'm just rolling, just going. So I decided to take myself to the bathroom because I needed to check my reflection, make sure I was still looking fly. It was cute. So when I did, and I got to the bathroom, checking, okay, I'm straight, yes. But we didn't say yes back then, but I should have, yeah. Before I put my hand on the doorknob, I felt it. Ladies, there is something that we all have. Somebody said it. Intuition. I felt that drop to the pit of my stomach, but I said, girl, please, you go on back out there, that man's fine. And as soon as I got out there and I was walking now. Yeah. And it slowed down because I felt it again. I ignored it. And when I got back to the table and realized that he was by himself and his friend had left, something should have alerted me that something was wrong. So when I got to the table, I'm smiling. Y'all check the smiles? Y'all see that back there? Hey, now, thank you. And he wouldn't smile back, and he said, Toshia, sit down. Right, that's me too. I'm like, hold on. Now, he ain't talking to me, is he? Started giggling. That's what I do. How many of y'all start giggling when you get nervous? Yeah? He wasn't laughing, though. He said, Toshia, sit your ass down. I cuss, but it's okay. God's still working on me. So, this a joke, right? I'm looking around, everybody just minding their business, just eating good, talking good, ain't nobody paying me no attention. And I feel for it. My purse. My ignorant self, so excited, left my purse at the table. How many of us do things mindlessly? Please don't act, thank you, babies. How many of us go out to a nightclub, I don't go there no more, but you just bebop to the bathroom, leave your drink wide open. I'll be back, girl, yeah. And you gone, leaving your drink all open, come right back and slurp on it. Yeah. He said, you looking for this? He held up my purse, taunting me. That's when I knew that I was in trouble and that my life would have never been the same. I sat down as I was told. He scooted in close to me, I mean real close, so close that I can feel his breath right down the back of my neck. And I started crying and he told me to suck it up. Do not call attention to this table, because trust me, you don't want it. Suck it up. You know that job you was looking for? It starts tonight. I thought that I was going to be able to get out of there. Better yet, where in the hell is the waitress? She She must have been in on this too. Where's his friend? He knew. And then I felt it. Something cold. Something, maybe a piece of steel on my thigh. And when I looked down, my worst nightmare was confirmed. Ladies and gentlemen, I walked in a free woman, a woman with dignity, respect, honor, a woman who was honorably discharged from the United States Air Force, serving 7 years. I walked out a sex slave. The days that ensued, the crap that I had to deal with, I wouldn't have asked that for my worst enemy. The people that came in and out the room and the way that I begged, please, I don't care what you do to me, please send help for me. I am here against my will, please. Help did not come, but he did. And so did violence. So did rage for trying to alert the police. Every night this idiot allowed me to go home. Every night I wished for death because death would have been easier than what I had to deal with. Every day he called me and told me to report to work. Every day my mother looked at me and thought that I was on drugs because I was angry and mad and hating the world and hating life. Every day I thought about taking myself out. And every day I asked why God allowed something like this to happen to me if he loved me. If you love me, how could you allow something like this to happen to me? And then I did something that a lot of us do when we get in jams. What do we do? I mean, especially as kids. You didn't really study for the test, but if you let me pass, I promise I'm gonna study harder next time. You know how you do. Lord, if you just let me pass this test, Lord, if I get in this doctor's office, I swear I'm gonna stop smoking. I ain't gonna smoke no more. I'm gonna stop eating all that pork, Lord, if you just, y'all know. I made a pact with God. If you save me, I promise you, I will save someone else. I'm standing in front of you. God saved me. Yeah. That does warn it. Yeah. By the grace of God, I am here today. And I use my voice as a means to alert and tell everyone else. Sex trafficking doesn't care what your color is, even though it's the majority African American girls in America. The media won't tell you that. Sex trafficking doesn't care what economic background you come from. I mean, I wasn't doing all that bad. I got clients from affluent areas. Sex trafficking can affect you if you are 12 to 18 is when it primarily starts, but I've had a client as young as 11, pregnant by her pimp at 13. My oldest was 33. What I'm trying to tell you is that you have got to open up your eyes and have the difficult conversations. It's not enough to turn the other cheek or close your eyes and act like you don't know that it's happening. Because it's happening, right? Probably in your own neighborhood, probably in your families. You need to wake up and smell the coffee. When that young lady that's in your home, or maybe your niece, maybe your cousin is coming around with brand new Jordans, nice sneakers, nice shoes, her nails is getting done. You know you ain't giving her money. She got new bundles. You might be natural, but he likes to keep them. He don't want them natural. They start changing, attitudes start changing, grades start changing. Maybe she starts becoming sassier, angrier, on the computers more often. On the phone, don't want to stop and put it down. Got new friends, because they think they're people that they put on the friends list are their actual friends. Babies, they not your friends. You don't know them. When you meet a stranger on the internet, you are opening yourself up to a whole new world. That person who's hiding behind the screen is not who they say they are. It's plenty. Just like you pretend to be older than you are, he is pretending to be younger than he is. And the pimp is not always a man. Sometimes it's a woman, because they're called recruiters. And they're there to recruit you and be your friend. You don't need, when your mom and dad and your auntie, grandmama, grandpapa, whoever say, don't hang around people I don't know. Who are you talking to? Who are your friends? Let me meet them. Baby, go to school. Don't skip. They telling you because now it's life or death. Our pictures don't go up on CNN in 48 hours unless we looking like a toothless fool on Howard Crack. We don't get, our kids' pictures don't get shown on the television programs and on the news channel. Cindy does, but Tasha don't. So when Tasha goes missing, guess what they do? They have to send her profile on Twitter and Facebook to organizations like mine, because maybe he has taken her, kidnapped her, and taken her over the state line, which hence is called trafficking. Domestic minor sex trafficking is for children under the age of 18. And they are being trafficked, whether they're going to Miami or they're staying right here in Hollywood. It doesn't matter. I need you to do the tough work. I need you to obey your parents. I need you to get your lesson. Get off of the internet. And if you're going to be on the internet, make sure it's where everybody can see. Because if you're doing something on the internet that you don't want anybody else to see, you shouldn't do it. I'm going to say it one more time. If you are on the internet on that phone, chatting and doing things that you know you shouldn't be doing, you don't need to do it. I will end with this because I know my time is up. I just want to say a big thank you to M.A.K Natural. When I get hired to speak, the audience don't look like this. And that breaks my heart, because we're the ones with the highest numbers. We have got to open up our eyes and start being a community again and being our brother's keeper. Remember the whole old adage or adage, it takes a village? I need that to happen again. Because our kids are going missing. Worse, they are being killed and murdered. They're being bought and sold. Slavery is not over. But I will tell you this, it really doesn't matter if something like that happened to you. I'm living proof that you can make it out, that you can get your education, that you can become successful, making money and looking good while doing it, yeah? I do appreciate you allowing me to take my time to tell my story. And I hope and pray that you guys pay this forward and start looking online. You can Google. I think we have an expert coming up here to talk about the stats in your area. I know the stats in mine. I don't really know the stats here, but I do appreciate you allowing me here to tell my story without judgment. Because you know, as black folk, we love to judge. Yes, we do. Don't play. Thank you. Have a great night.
That's amazing. How many of you all feel inspired? How many of you all know that this is an urgent matter and you're going to get involved? How many are going to start looking at your kids' phones? How many are going to start looking at their Facebook? How many are going to take the computer out of the room and put it in a central area? That's what happens in my house. You can't use the computer unless I can see what you're doing. This is important. We have so many people in the room who are going to talk today, who are going to really take this home for you. Because when you leave here today, there's action that comes after it. It's not just a story. It's not just an inspirational story. This is to compel you to do something, to get involved. And you can do it in your own house. If it's just starting where you are, starting with your own children, with your own grandchildren. Don't overlook your cousins and your nieces and your nephews. They may not be under your house, but they're a part of your lineage. They're a part of your family. So I'm so inspired today. I look forward to more. We're going to do the child. We're going to do the child giveaway. All the children, if all the children under 18, please come forward.
I'm gonna make sure y'all was listening. We're gonna do a giveaway. So if you wanna get some, come up here. Y'all don't want nothing? If you're under 18, come up here. Okay. I see you trying to slump in the chair in the pink and blue. Come on. All right. My God, gorgeous. So, first of all, I just want to make sure you guys know you're beautiful, but I don't think y'all have a problem with that. Okay, so here's the question for the giveaway. What is the average age a girl can be trafficked? I said. Okay, who came first? 11? No. That's right, 12. So the average age of entry a girl goes into trafficking is 12. What's your name?
Sarai.
It's beautiful, Sarai. And what school do you go? Awesome. Okay, where's her prize? You need more than one? Oh. Thank you. We're gonna do one more. One more. Let me think of something good. Y'all are really listening though. Okay. What city did I go to when that unfortunate, look at her. What city was I in? Oh, say it one more time.
Memphis.
And what's your name?
Sorry, what is it?
Alyssa. She had it right. She said Memphis. Give it up for you. Is that good? They were listening. Okay, we're done. Thank you, lovelies. Thank you for listening. Thank you. Y'all can go back to your seat.
So we're going to do the after. We're going to get a little explanation of what took place while we were listening so intently.
Andrew.
So before she had on a purple-ish lip, which is beautiful. It's a beautiful look. My philosophy with makeup is there's no right way or wrong way to do makeup, but there are, because makeup is what you want. Makeup is your creation, but there are ways to enhance your face and give you a nice natural glow. She has more warm tones, so instead of the purple lip, which is a cool tone, I use a nice red. She has like light eyeshadow on and just some nice eyeliner just to make the eyes pop. So that's why we went a little more on the lip. And yeah.
Yes, you did a good job. So you can see the after. She's gonna walk around and you guys get to do a nice close-up and see what we did. But basically this is just a soft look that you can do for any occasion. If you wanna go for drinks or you have a meeting with your manager or something. It's just a simple, quick look. Very natural eye with a pop of lips. And the red is always good for this time of year, the holiday season, so why not? Even if you're not a red person, red goes well with a lot of people. And that color that we actually use today is Ruby Roo from M.A.K. And the color actually translates well with a lot of different skin tones, so you don't worry about it. But I want to thank M.A.K Natural for having us for the creation. It was a pleasure. And if you have any questions, feel free to come by us. And you can go on my website at www.nazarethcreation.com. We have different promotion and different events all the time, so feel free to come by. And we also cater to men. So if you want skincare, one of our major qualities is skincare, and we believe in true skincare because without natural, beautiful skin, you can't really do much with your makeup, you know? So that's it for today. Thank you.
So, as we said that we're going to get a little bit more information. How does human trafficking affect us here locally? And we're going to welcome Jamarl Johnson to the platform. Jamarl Johnson is currently employed with the Plantation Police Department as a victim advocate. Jamarl holds a bachelor's degree in sociology and a master's degree in criminal justice. Jamarl has worked in the criminal justice field for over 20 years. Jamarl is a former certified probation officer and probation supervisor with the Department of Juvenile Justice of Broward County, Florida. Jamarl has devoted her career to helping and working with victims and children who have been and are currently being exploited and or abused. Jamarl is an active member of the Broward County Human Trafficking Coalition, where she serves as an executive board member and vice president of the Education and Outreach. Jamarl is also a member of the STARS, Stop Trafficking and Rescue Survivors Subcommittee, where she serves as the training coordinator. Jamarl is a certified victim services practitioner, certified through the Attorney General's Office of Florida. Let's welcome her to the platform.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I want to thank M.A.K Naturals for having me here tonight. It's always an honor, a privilege, and a pleasure when anyone wants to know what's going on when it comes to human trafficking, commercial sexual exploitation of children, and domestic minor sex trafficking. So what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to talk to you specifically about how DMST, which is domestic minor sex trafficking, and CSEC, which is commercial sexual exploitation of children, how it is specifically affecting Broward County. Okay, so what we're going to talk about now, what I have in my hand now is I have numbers from the million gazillion reports that I have to read on a regular basis. And so we're going to talk about a few numbers, we're going to talk about specific time frames, and I'm also going to touch on some things that will be helpful to parents. But before I get started, sister, I just want to applaud you. I take my hat off to you for all of the great work that you have done and you're doing. And press on, because it is a fight. First and foremost, I just want to basically give you some idea of what I do on a regular basis. My job is to work specifically with survivors of domestic minor sex trafficking, commercial sexual exploitation, rape, and molestation. That's what I do on a regular basis. So I work with young women, both minors and adults, throughout the county of Broward. I also service young women from different counties, Palm Beach County, Dade County, who have been brought across the county line, and we just happen to intercept them in our county, okay? So I want, before I get into the numbers, I want to touch on just a few things. The young lady here was correct. The average age of entry into the sex trafficking industry is between the ages of 12 and 13. The youngest victim I've ever worked with was 9 years old, but the average age of entry is about 12 to 13 years old. Sex trafficking does not look like anything. There is no profile for a trafficking victim. There is no profile for a trafficker. There's no profile for a pimp. Anybody willing to make money off of the back of someone else could be a trafficker. Okay, so we work with, and when I say work with, I have to communicate as well with male pimps, female pimps. I have to communicate with peer pimps, where a big thing that's going on right now is peer recruitment, okay, in the schools. Okay, so that's a huge thorn in our side in Broward County right now, where children are recruiting their peers in the schools right now, okay? And they do that because that gets them in good with the pimp. Because the more girls you bring in, the more money you're making the pimp and the better standing you have with your pimp, okay? Because you always want to be to your pimp the smartest girl in the class, okay? So because you get treated better, you get more attention from him, and you get, your head kicked in less, okay? So, 2 things I want you parents to take into consideration. Well, 3 things. Young lady spoke specifically to the youth. I want to talk to you parents, okay? Now, there are different forms of pimpology is what they call it, okay? So you have what you call the gorilla pimp, okay? That's what we call the gorilla pimp. And the gorilla pimp is the guy that is, there's never going to be a time where he's nice to you. You're going to get your skull cracked day one, going in. You're going to know. He's about his money. You're going to know day one. You break a rule, you get out of pocket, there are going to be consequences, okay? The other version of a pimp is the peer pimp, okay? This is the person that's going to befriend your child. This is the person that's going to befriend your niece, your granddaughter, okay? And then the last one is the boyfriend pimp. This is the thorn in my side. This is what we call the Romeo pimp. This is the guy that's going to date your daughter, date your niece, date your granddaughter. He's going to come to your house. He's going to shake your hand, look in your eye, put his feet under your table, break bread with you. You might even get him a family reunion shirt. He might even go out of town with you, okay? And this is the guy that's going to date your loved one for, and I use the word date loosely because your child is literally in her mind going to think that she's dating this guy. But in actuality, what he's doing is he's grooming her. Now, the grooming process takes about 4 to 6 months. It's about the same for domestic violence relationships, okay? It's the same thing. Okay, so that 4 to 6 months, that's where the whining and dining takes place. That's where the lovey-dovey takes place. That's where the gift giving, that's where the niceness, the caressing, that's all of that takes place in that 4 to 6 months because he can only pretend to be that person for that extended period of time. Okay, that's the longest he can pretend to be that way. So that's why it comes on so strong. And what it does is it sweeps her off her feet and then it confuses her. It confuses her. Because after the grooming process takes place, then that conversation happens. And the conversation is going to be this. We've been together for, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. Haven't I shown you in that time how much I love you? Look at all of the things I've done for you. Haven't we done this? Haven't we done that? Has anybody ever done anything like this before? Do you have any doubt in your mind that I love you? Have I ever treated you in a way that it made you think I didn't love you? I've treated you better than most of your family members have treated you, haven't I? Look at all the money I've spent on you. And then what's going to happen is he's going to talk about how what he's done for you has put him in a bind. And then what's going to happen is that he's going to flip the script and say, I was just so concerned and so in love with you and didn't want to lose you that, I was spending all this money on you and now I'm kind of like, in a bind. And I owe this dude some money, or I got these bills and I got this due or whatever, and I need you to help me out. And so when you're in love and you think he's the best thing since sliced bread, what are you gonna do? What is your child gonna do? Be careful because you don't know what your child would do out of sight, out of mind. Right? Okay. So they have that conversation. Now, in the beginning, your child might be resistant. So what's going to happen is that he's going to ask to take some pictures of her. Okay? And she's going to agree. Why not? This is her dude. You know what I'm saying? Why not? You like him. You bought him a family reunion shirt, mom and dad. He comes to the house. You like him. This is her dude, right? So why not take a couple of risque pictures for him, right? Okay. They're going to have the conversation again. She's still going to be a little hesitant. No problem. He's got the pictures. She's still a little hesitant. So what he's going to do now is he's going to probably make her dinner, or better yet, he'll offer to give her something to drink, and he's going to put some in her drink. He's going to put some in her drink, and then he's going to have sex with her, or he'll call some of his friends over, his boys over, and they'll all have sex with her, and he's going to film it. Okay? What is he doing? What is he doing? Exactly. So, he's going to have the conversation with her one more time. And that's it. That's it. Okay? Now, she doesn't know that she's already going to do what he wants her to do. But what's happening is that he's giving her an opportunity to make it easy or to make it hard. Okay? So they're going to have that conversation one more time. They have that conversation. She's still, I don't, I'm really not. Okay, then he's like, you know what? That's it. His patience is done. He's gone. The pictures come out. The videos come out. And let me say something to you, and we're going to go over this. People have this misconception, and there's this myth in Broward County that domestic minor sex trafficking victims are kids that are in foster care. I'm telling you right now, I don't know about any other state, but I know for the state of Florida and for the county of Broward, that is absolutely false. The percentage of children that we have identified as children that are being sex trafficked are community children. What's a community child? A community child is a child that lives in a home, in a community with parents and or a caregiver. They are not in foster care. They are not a dependent child. They are not in congregate care. They are not in shelter. They have a family. They have people. They come from somebody. Okay? And I'm gonna talk to you briefly about how they also use that. They use the family against them. So let's go back to the videos in the phone. Okay, so you don't want to do it. I got these videos of you. I got this phone, phone with you. You don't remember doing it, but you know that's you. That's you. And who's going to believe that you didn't agree to that because this is your dude? Right? This your dude. So who's going to believe that he drugged you? Who's going to believe that you didn't know what was going on? Okay, so listen, if you don't do this, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to post the pictures. I'm going to post the video. I'm going to print the pictures. I'm going to take them to your mama's job, post them at your mother's job. I'm going to print the pictures. I'm going to take them to your dad's job. I'm going to plaster them all over your dad's job. I'm going to print the pictures. I'm going to take them to your little brother, your little sister's school. I'm going to put them up all over your little brother, little sister's school. I'll hack into the school's computer and I'll put the video up on the school's computer so everybody can see it. He has your Facebook account because this your dude, you know what I'm saying? He has your sign-in, login, because this your dude, right? So all he has to do is sign in your Facebook account and upload the video. Who's gonna believe you didn't do it? Right? Okay, so there it is, boom, we're there. That's your Romeo pimp. That's the thorn in my side, that's the methodical guy. Another thing I just want to touch on briefly before I get into the numbers is how important it is for you all as parents to make sure you're validating your children.
Yeah. Amen.
If you fail to validate your children are not going to understand and they're not going to know the definition of a true, genuine compliment. And they're going to have a false sense of what love is, what it looks like, what a relationship is, what a relationship looks like. Because nobody's ever shown them any different. A pimp said once, a pimp made this comment, because like I said, I deal with a lot of pimps. I have to, because I have to get information from them, so I have to talk to them. I have to be nice to them. Pimp said one time, because I'm like, dude, how do you do this? Like, what is it? What is it? And it's so simple that it's scary. A pimp stated, he was like, okay, I can be in a mall. I see a group of girls, or I see a girl. I walk up to her. I pay her a compliment. Probably tell her beautiful eyes, beautiful hair, that outfit looks good on you. If she turns away, she looks down, she doesn't receive the compliment. Guess what? That's the one he wants. If she looks back in his face and says thank you and receives it, he walks away from her. She's too much trouble. You know why? She doesn't need him to tell her that she's beautiful. She doesn't need him to tell her that she has beautiful eyes. She doesn't need him to tell her that she looks nice in her outfit. You know why she received it and she was able to look back in his eye and say thank you? Because she's used to hearing it. Right? But the young lady that puts her head down and gives... She's not used to hearing that. So that, you know, she's all warm and fuzzy inside, right? So he knows right then and there, the grooming process starts immediately right then, because he knows right then, all I need to do now is pour on a few more compliments, buy a few little cute things, buy a little nice little bag, juicy couture bag or something that don't cost that much, but costs something more than what she's used to. Take her out for some nice dinners, and I'll be able to get her to do whatever I need her to do. Because I have made her feel like nobody else in her life ever has. So from then on out, he will always be the truth teller. Okay, so validate your children, because when they hear the lie, they'll believe the lie rather than knowing it's a lie, right? Okay, let's talk about some numbers, because I know I don't have a lot of time. I just want to give you some idea of what we're dealing with here. The state of Florida is number 3 in the country for calls through the hotline, okay? And the reason that Florida is, you know, such a hot spot and such a hub for human trafficking, because, you know, it's Florida. I mean, listen, what does it do, what does it not do here that it does every place else? What does it not do here that it does every place else? It doesn't snow here. We are never locked in our house, or can't go to work, or can't go to school, or can't go outside because of snow, right? You can work in the state of Florida 365 days a year, right? You can work a girl on the track, or you can post a girl on Backpage 365 days a year in Florida. There's always work here in Florida, okay? Also, Florida is such a hot spot. What is Florida surrounded by? Water. What's on the other side of those water? Right? Easy to bring people in. Is it not? Yeah. What else is Florida known for? Tourism. That's right. People go on vacation to do stuff they don't have no business doing. I mean, it's the truth, you know. What else are we known for? Picking season. Labor trafficking. Come on, y'all. Florida we have a huge labor trafficking issue in Florida. Migrant workers come here to pick during picking season. Right? And these people are drawn here thinking they're going to be making money for their families, and they're not. There was a huge case in Boca Raton 2010 with the 39 Filipinos that were being labor trafficked. Okay, so we have a huge problem here. So not only we're battling labor trafficking, we're battling sex trafficking as well, and child trafficking. Okay, so that is why our numbers are very, very high. But let's just talk about a few numbers on a report. Now, I read a lot of reports. I have to go through a lot of data because I'm the training coordinator for Broward County. So I have to keep up on the numbers. But I just want to, you know, touch on some numbers in Broward County. Now, Florida's number 3 in the country, but Broward County is number 1 in the state. We are number 1 in the state for sex trafficking cases of minors. Okay, now there's a office, there's an organization, Office of Program Policy and Analysis and Government, and what they did is from July 2013 through December 2014, they looked at 28 counties, okay? And in those 28 counties, within that time frame, July 2013 to December 2014, they identified 170 children that were being sex trafficked, okay? Now understand, these numbers are coming from the kids that we know about, the cases that are reported. Okay, there's hundreds that go unreported. Okay, of that 170, 45 of those kids were Broward County kids. 27 of those kids were Georgia's kids, Miami-Dade kids. Okay, so after Broward is Dade County. And then what do you think is the next highest county? Orange County, Orlando. Okay, so that's just one. And so let me just talk about the cases here in Broward. Now, what we've done in Broward is we have created a multidisciplinary staffing team here in Broward, just so you guys are aware of what we're trying to do here in the county as far as identification. Now, Broward County was chosen as a pilot with Shared Hope International, who I'm sure you're very familiar with, and we were chosen to do a pilot program with one of their assessment tools, okay? And what it did is it helped us to identify children that were coming through. See, what was happening was we were screaming because, see, 13 and 14 and 15-year-old children were coming through the JAC, the Juvenile Assessment Center, and they were being charged with prostitution. That was a problem. You charging a child with a crime they don't have the right to, they can't legally give consent to. Okay? A 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old cannot legally give consent to have sex with anybody. Right. A 16-year-old, okay, can't give consent to have sex with anyone over the age of 23. That's Florida statute, look it up, okay? So the legal age consent of Florida to have sex without restriction is 18. Is 18, okay? So what was happening, kids were coming in and they were charging them with prostitution or whatever, so we were screaming, we were going, you know, nuts and everything. So what happened was, okay, so with Sandra Scalani and Project Gold, with Christie House, they, you know, worked together with other agencies, and we got the Safe Harbor Act legislation piece passed, which was great, which said that law enforcement, you know, no longer could treat these children as criminals. What happened? They had to treat them as victims, and, you know, if they came across a young woman, because what was happening, they were arresting the kids and they were letting the Johns go. The kids were coming to the JAC in handcuffs, and the Johns were being let go. So you handcuffing a 14-year-old girl and you letting a 30-some-year-old dude drive off. You just pull this 14-year-old girl out of this 30-some-year-old man's car. But you cuff her and bring her to the JAC and charge her with prostitution. And he goes home to his wife and kids. Something's wrong with that. Something's wrong with that. So what happened was, what the Safe Harbor Act allowed was for the children to be treated as victims. And what happened is that it gave an option, law enforcement an option to placing them in what they call safe homes, safe houses, okay? Which is like shelter, because they gave us the legislation, but they didn't give us any money, but that's another thing. You know, that's how they do. But anyway, so then what started happening is they started blind charging them. So instead of charging them with prostitution, they were charging them with false info to a Leo, loitering and prowling. Stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, and us being in the field, we knew what it was. We were able to recognize it. So what we did we partnered with Shared Hope and the Juvenile Assessment Center with BSO, and so when the girls were coming into the JAC, these girls were being given this assessment tool. And the assessment tool asks very specific questions. If the child had history of runaway, tattoos, huge things, pimps brand their girls. They brand their girls. They're getting very smart because the smarter we get, the smarter they get. So they're no longer branding them across their chest. They're no longer branding them at the bottom of their bag. They're no longer branding them, on the boob or whatever, because we can see that. So what they're doing now is they're putting their initial behind their ear, or they're putting their initial under their lip, like that. Or they're putting their initial in between their thigh or underneath their arm, like that, okay? So we had to start asking all of these questions. And because of this tool and because we knew what to ask, we were able to start identifying these girls. And then another great thing happened was 1-800-96-ABUSE, the hotline got on board. And so it would allow us, once we identified a girl, we call it into the hotline. The hotline will accept that call, and then they will assign a CPS investigator to investigate the claim that comes through the call. And then what happens is that case is assigned that kid is assigned a case number, and we are staffing those cases. We're coming together, we're at the table, and we're trying to find out what we missed. And one of the big things that we found out we were missing was this. A lot of the girls that were coming, and a lot of the boys, because this is just not a female issue, okay? And just so you know, the children in the LGBTQ community are at higher risk, and they are way more brutalized because of the social stigma and the mentality that is attached to the lifestyle, okay? So this is not just an issue that is, affecting the female population. But what we were finding out was, because we were like, my gosh, how are we missing all these kids? And understand, statistics show that 70 to 90% of girls that are identified as sex trafficking victims have a history of sexual abuse, okay? Now, what was happening was, when we were going back, we were seeing that there was at least a call, some contact with DCF at one time, right? But see, what happens is, I don't know if you guys know how it works, what happens is when you call in an abuse report, they send somebody out to investigate it. If they can't substantiate it, they close it, unsubstantiated, no findings. So what we were like, well, we started seeing all this. And so when I said to them in the meeting, I said, let me tell you, you guys are not getting it. You need to understand, just because BSO CPA's investigation team can prove it didn't happen doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Right.
So what happens is a lot of times they're missing it, and the kids are being left there with the perpetrators. That's right. At 8, at 9, at 10. Yeah. Okay, so at 12, they've developed those risk factors that makes them prone and a greater risk for being recruited. Right? So that's one of the things that we were finding, okay? And so understand, what we're doing now is we're staffing these cases, okay? And so what I want to do is I just want to give you the numbers for 2015. Now these numbers are only up until July of 2015 because the report won't be finished until the end of the year. But you know what? I'm going to give you all the numbers. You want all the numbers? I'm going to give you all the numbers. Okay. Now. Okay. Now the 2015 that we've collected this far, that we've reported on, okay, this, and please keep in mind, these numbers are from January 2015 to July 2015, okay? So in July 2015, as of July 27th, 100 calls went to the hotline, okay? For children that people suspected these children were being sex trafficked, okay? This is Broward County. This is not Dade, this is only Broward County children, okay? Out of that 100 calls that went in to the hotline, 64 of those children were confirmed to be sex trafficking victims.
This may be really personal. And if you need help, if you know someone who needs help, help is in the room today. So we don't want anybody to think that this is just only about fashion, only about hair. It is, but it's also about today can be the answer. Today can be the solution for someone who is trapped, really. So we're going to take a little break, and we want to encourage you. This is the time that if you want to go speak, to go talk to the vendors. I want to tell you about these earrings really quick that I'm wearing. I want to mention the vendor's name. Her name is Creative Looks by Anita. Come model it for us. Michelle has on her earrings. She jeweled us today. And these are hand painted. It is made out of wood, and they're huge, but guess what? They are so lightweight. So we want to encourage you to go ahead and go around and visit some of the vendors, and then we'll come back and we're going to very shortly, very, very shortly have our M.A.K Kids fashion show, and we'll be tying up really soon.
But actually right now we're going to have a selection by Damian Kaisley.
Good evening, everyone.
I was born
And oh, just like that river I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know change gon' come. Oh, yes it will. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die. 'Cause I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming, but I know change gon' come. Oh, yes it will. Said I go to the movies and I go downtown. Somebody keep telling me don't hang around. It's been a long time coming, but I know change gon' come. Oh, yes it will. Then I go to my brother and I say, brother, help me please. But he winds up knocking me back down on my knees. Oh, there've been times that I thought I could let for long, but now I think I'm able to carry on. It's been a long time coming, but I know change gon' come. Oh, yes it will.
Thank you to Ian and Michelle and M.A.K Natural and all the vendors for putting this wonderful event together. It's been informative for me to participate, and it's awesome to see a community come together for such an important cause. And also I learned a lot about natural hair today, which I wasn't too familiar with, so it's good to learn. So very quickly, you've learned a lot of information today about the facts, the statistics. You got firsthand awareness from a survivor, and thank you so much for your voice and for what you do. These are all important and integral components to the issue and understanding it. But what can you do now that you know? What can you do for your family? How can you protect children that don't know what's going out there and keeping them from the grasp of traffickers? You have to understand, one girl can earn a trafficker in Miami $250,000 a year. You don't know, but 6% of the male population over the age of 18 in my county are active buyers of sex. That's over 150,000 men. That is more demand than what can fit in the Miami Heat arena, that can fit in the Dolphin Stadium. You can sell both those places out and still have 50,000 drivers looking for sex in our community. So it's so important that each one of us leaves here with a calling to action. And the organization that I've been called to put together, it's called the Life of Freedom Center. And yes, we offer support and resources to survivors. We train everyday people to become mentors. We recruit social workers to donate their time and services to help these women build a life outside of trafficking. We work with therapists to assist them in processing the trauma. But most importantly, we give you information so that you can learn, first of all, how to protect the innocent. We provide a 90-minute awareness presentation that's appropriate for children as young as 12. It includes video, multimedia, it involves action steps that you can put up on your fridge. You have to make this something that you're talking about regularly and clearly. Okay, this is not something to forget about and only bring it up every now and then. It's important because of the demand. Your children are valuable as sex slaves, and people want to recruit them. So that's one thing we do. It's called Protect Our Kids, and you can sign up. It's totally free. It involves material that's provided by nationally recognized organizations, so it's safe and effective for you. Another thing that we do is conduct outreach. Now that you know what human trafficking is about, what does it look like in your neighborhood? Where is it happening? And what we do is we form two types of outreach. This Saturday coming up, we're doing an outreach with Christ-Centered Church out of FIU North, and we're surveying on a Saturday morning. We're visiting businesses on 163rd, on Biscayne Boulevard, on 125th Street. We're visiting them with the pictures. Over 24 girls that are currently missing in our community. A third of those children are recruited into some form of exploitation within 48 hours. That's 2 days that they're brought into. And that type of exploitation has many forms. But by visiting businesses with the pictures of these kids and leaving behind information on how to identify it and how to report it, you're making our community safer for these children that are out there. You also learn firsthand by visiting these businesses. You are conducting a survey of businesses for signs of suspected sex trafficking and human trafficking. So you're collecting information that then we put together so that we can create a map, an understanding of where this is happening and how, what form it takes. Understand, law enforcement's out there, prosecutors are out there, they bust criminals and pimps. We're after communities to make them safe. It's like the other side of the coin. That's our role. Another type of outreach that we conduct are internet and phone outreach. This is where we train individuals to go on the web in groups and go through the 200 to 300 ads that appear every day of women that are selling themselves online. These women are each receiving hundreds of calls every week for their body. How much? What will you do? Imagine what an impact you would make if you were on that phone saying, "How are you? How can I help you? These are the resources available to you. Can I pray with you?" You are planting seeds of hope in these lives that are traumatized daily, and they feel, like our friend here was sharing, they just leave and they don't care. But you can share that care and share that love with them through this program. And we're doing one this Thursday, and again, this training is free. Men are invited to this training. No, we don't go on the web. We're not calling the women. What we're doing is we're getting together and we're talking about demand. Because men are responsible for the majority of the purchasing that's happening out there. What's driving this crime is the money. And the money is coming out of the men's pockets that are buying these children and buying these women. So as men, we get together and we talk about things like lust, infidelity, addiction to pornography. These are all seeds, pathways that lead to these men driving around the streets thinking it's okay to buy. So as men, we gather and we pray. Because prayer is one of the things we need desperately more of in this problem. We can have tons of investigators, but without a change in heart, we're not going to change the situation or the outcome, which is we're losing kids. 1 every 2 minutes in the United States. And then the third thing that we can encourage you to do is increase opportunities for healing. How many people are going to be at church tomorrow morning? Well, there is church tomorrow. It's Sunday. Some people go on Saturdays or other days. But let me ask you, at your church, if you were a victim, how would you find help at that church? Would you go into the children's ministry? Would you go up to the male pastor? Would you just talk to the usher? But let me tell you, only 1% of victims are ever identified. That means 99% go silent, desolate, in the palace, in your own church. So what we do is we train women, primarily, to be mentors. these ambassadors that understand how to recognize the signs, how to build healthy relationships, how to guide that individual through the pathway to go from victim to survivor to free person, a person that can live freely in a relationship with the Lord. And if our churches were to open up, we can definitely change that 1% and make it higher. So I thank you for everyone for being here today and playing a part. And please, at the end of this meeting, don't let your involvement end. Let it be the beginning. Let this tonight be the night that opened your eyes, the night that you learned about things. But tomorrow, start talking about the things that you can do. And we're here. We're all here doing our part. And with the Life of Freedom Center, we assist you. We don't charge for anything. Everything we do is for free. It's done out of the love for the survivors. Okay? So I thank you, M.A.K Natural. I thank you, all the vendors. And that delicious smelling jerk chicken, too.
Wow. I don't know about you guys, but I am so inspired, and I can't wait to talk to you afterwards about this. Whatever I can do to get involved, I want to do it. And the last song that we're going to sing today is actually called Ready to Fly. And it was like, it ties in so perfectly with what they're talking about. It was my declaration to say, God, I'm ready to fly. I want to live for something greater than fame or gold. I want to do something with my life. My voice, it may be small. It may not sound like Beyonce, but it matters, and it's mine. And so whatever I can do to inspire, whatever I can do to make a difference in the life of a girl who doesn't know she's valuable, I'm gonna do it. And so as I sing this song, I hope you think about it. What can you do? Just like they talked about. Different people have said, one works with law enforcement, one with a nonprofit, and another with a nonprofit that partners with churches. What are you doing about it? Here we go. All right, can we get some hands together? Here we go. Come on. 1, 2, 3. This is called Ready to Fly. The tide is turning, it is a new day. I can see the sun shining on my face. It is a new season and I can't wait to soar. Hand in hand we're walking through open doors, yeah. Hey, hey, oh. This is what I said to the Lord. Long ago I made up my mind. I'd live for your glory and not for mine. Oh, where you lead me, the nations near and far. I don't care who's with me, long as you are. I'm ready to fly. I'm ready to go. I wanna live for something greater than fame or gold. I'm ready to fly. I'm ready to go and use my life to make a difference. Look out, world. Ain't it funny how life can be constantly evolving like a movie scene? We live and we learn how to go with the flow of change, knowing faith, hope, and love remain. I'm ready to fly. I'm ready to go. I wanna live for something greater than fame or gold. I'm ready to fly. I'm ready to go and use my life to make a difference. Look out, world. Look out, world. Look out, world. Oh, hey. I'll go where you follow your cue. For my heart burns with love for you. I heard your calling is my reply. Your majesty, here's my life. I'll go where you follow your cue. For my heart burns with love for you. I heard your calling is my reply. Your majesty, here's my life. I'm ready to fly. I'm ready to fly. I'm ready to fly. I am ready to fly. I am ready to fly. I am ready to fly. I'm ready to fly, 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 fly. Release me like a bird to fly. Oh, release me like a bird to fly. Oh, release me like a bird to fly. I am ready to fly. I'm ready to fly. I'm ready to fly, 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 fly. Take me to the nations. Come on, guys, put your hands up. Take me to the nations, yeah. Take me to the nations. Come on. Say, I'm ready to fly. I am ready to fly. I am ready to fly. I am ready to fly, 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 fly. Ready to go wherever he may lead. Ready to go, ready to go, ready to fly, 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 fly across the sky. Yeah. Woo! Thank you guys so much for your time. I'm sitting over here. Can you hand me a CD and one of the bracelets? I want to give a bracelet and a CD away. You can keep playing. Some of the music that you were hearing playing in the background has been from my CD. I'm selling CDs. These CDs here for $5. And these for the CDs for $7 and the bracelets for $5. If you get it together, it's $10. But I want to give it away. And I'm going to give it away to the person who can actually spell and say my name correctly. Does anybody want to guess? Wait, you bought a CD already. Raise your hand if you want to try to guess the proper way to say and spell my name. Almost. It's Naida, N-A-I-D-A. But I'll give it to you anyway. Let's give it up for her. Good job. Thank you guys so much. Please come by and say hi, get my card, or support me. Thank you so much. And so we'll hand it over to whoever's going to take it. Mrs. Host from Cloak. You can have it. Thank you so much, guys. Bless you.
All right. What is your name?
Janaya.
And what do you love about yourself? What do you love about yourself?
My natural hair.
For Janaya. Walk, walk. And what is your name? Samaya? Samira. Okay, what do you love about yourself?
My smile.
Your smile? Okay, go ahead and show your smile. Let's give it up. That beautiful smile. All right, let's give it up. And your name is?
Kiara, and I love to dance.
Okay. Go ahead, Kiara. She loves to dance. So you have to ask her. Turn around. Let's give it up for Kiara. Your name?
And I love to model.
Her name is Kimaya and she loves to model. Yep, all about the fashion. Natural beauty. She loves to And your name is? Layla, and you love? She loves to dance. Let's give it up for Layla. Oh, do a dance move. Your name is? Crystal. What do you love about yourself? She loves her hair. I love your hair too.
I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you.
All right now. On the stage.
I love you. I love you. My
Hey, Crystal. And your name is? Ariel. What you love about yourself? You love to dance. Let's go dance. Pretty Ariel. Uh-oh. Go dance. Where the move at? Uh-oh. And your name is? Cheyenne. No, you're not shy, right? Okay. What you love about yourself? You love to dance too? Okay, let's go. All right. Bring it next time. All right, and you are?
Michelle.
Hey, yes, and what you love about yourself?
I love my natural hair.
All right. Watch that step. Okay. So pretty. Natural beauty. Okay. All right. So let's give it up to all the M.A.K natural kids. They are so cute. So we're going to welcome, I want to get the bio really quick. We're going to welcome Tori. Tori, aka Bonafide Style, was born and raised in Kingston, Jamaica. She migrated to the United States with her family as a teenager and has resided in the Dallas-Fort Worth area ever since. Her hair journey began in 2009 with the goal of being healthier from relaxed hair. After watching several YouTube videos with healthy hair, she began transitioning back to normal or back to natural. After transitioning for a year and a half, she did the big chop. Wow, she did the big chop. And can y'all believe wait a minute. I'm sweating for real, because in 2012, now wait till you see her. In 2012, it's 2015, y'all. 2012, she did the big chop. Now Tori shares her journey, her hair journey and hair care tips on her social media sites, including Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube as Bonafide Style. Let's welcome Tori to the stage. Y'all see this hair after 3?
Hi everyone. Good evening. Good evening. I am so happy to be here. I'm so happy that Michelle invited me to speak with you guys. Just a disclaimer, I'm not a professional. I'm not a licensed cosmetologist. I don't do hair for a living. So a lot of the times I get questions about how to take care of natural hair. All I do is really talk about
what I've learned based on my experience. And I figured if I can share some of the things that I've learned, then it'll be easier for you guys who are just now deciding to go natural and maybe already on your natural hair journey but have had some struggles. So she talked about a little bit of my history or how I got to this point, but I wanted to go a little bit more in depth about that because when I was relaxed, I thought my hair was healthy because it looked okay. It looked pretty, I got compliments. It wasn't super short, but I realized that something was wrong because every time I would go to my bathroom, there would be hair all over. There would be hair all over the floor. My hair would feel weird, but I just thought maybe I just need to try some or add some more pink lotion. Everybody remembers pink lotion? Yeah. Now I have, I use pink lotion so much I cannot stand the smell of it. And I can smell it anywhere, to be honest. So how many of you are transitioning? How many of you have been natural for more than 2 years? How many of you have had struggles with your natural hair? How many have felt like you want to cut it all off? Yeah, that's me every time I wash it. So I started my hair journey in 2009. I was bored one Sunday, got on YouTube, and I found YouTube videos. At that time, it was nowhere close to as many YouTube videos there are now about caring for African American hair. So it caught me by surprise when I found this information, and I spent all Sunday watching all the videos I found, and then I went to Sally's and Walmart, I think Target, and I bought everything that they talked about, every product they said they used, because I wanted to make my relaxed hair healthier. So that's how the journey started. And over time, I decided that I was gonna stretch my relaxer. Anybody ever heard of that term of stretching your relaxer? Yeah. So typically you would always, well, for me, I would relax my hair every 6 weeks, like clockwork. And what I started doing was waiting a longer period between my relaxers. So I went from 6 weeks to going 12 weeks, and then it turned into 6 months. And at one point, I said, you know what, I'm gonna challenge myself. I'm gonna try to go 1 year without a relaxer. So during this year, I didn't realize that I was already transitioning. I didn't learn that I was transitioning until I decided to big chop. But during that time, some unfortunate events happened. I found a bald spot. It was right here, and well, it was in the middle, because I usually wear a middle part. And I thought maybe it's because I'm always parting my hair down the middle. Maybe it's because I did protective styles. I used half wigs, and you know how they'll have that comb? Yeah. So I thought it was the comb. So I left it alone. I stopped wearing the wig. I was like, I don't want this wig to pull out my hair anymore. And then even after stopping, the spot got bigger. And I realized that something was wrong because not only did the spot get bigger, my hair felt different. And so I decided to go to the dermatologist. You know that gut feeling, something is wrong, you go to the dermatologist. And what I found out was I was diagnosed with alopecia areata. Does anybody know what that is? Ever heard of it? And a lot of people will have this condition and not realize that they have this condition. So what alopecia areata is, it's an autoimmune disorder where your own immune system attacks your hair follicles. So it thinks it's not good for you, just like your immune system will fight a cold. It was fighting my hair follicles, causing my hair to fall out. And I had a couple different bald spots. And so when I found this out, I was devastated. I thought I was gonna go completely bald. So at that point, I decided that because of all that was going on with my hair, I didn't want to add anything else. So when it got to 1 year of no relaxer, I said instead of adding chemicals on top of the alopecia, on top of every other issue that was going on with me health-wise, I said, you know what, I'm not going to relax anymore. So I went for 6 more months. And so at 1.5 years of no relaxer, I did the big chop. And some people say that's not really a big chop because you waited 1.5 years instead of just cutting it all off. But to me, it was a big chop. I went from maybe shoulder length to my hair was like right here. And that was a big, big difference. So it took some time for me to figure out how to take care of my hair. And I'm gonna try to go faster because I know everybody's full and getting sleepy and want to go home.
Take your time.
So, couple things. I have never taken any hair supplements. And that's one of the first questions I get asked because a lot of us don't want to admit this, but we all want the quick fix. And I kind of wanted it too. But I resisted because I wanted to learn how to do it the right way. It's kind of like losing weight. A lot of us, if I could find a magic potion that would make me lose 10 pounds by tomorrow, I would probably drink it. I'm not even gonna lie to you. But I wanted to learn how to do it the right way, and I wanted to learn how to care for my hair the right way. So a lot of that meant researching, taking the time and patience. And that's the #1 thing for growing your hair longer, because when I get asked all these questions about how to grow your hair longer, the #1 rule or ingredient is patience, because it's not going to happen overnight, as much as we all would like it to. So, in addition to patience, you have to learn how to properly care for and style your hair. Our hair tends to be drier than other races. And so you have to make sure you're keeping your hair moisturized. What is the best moisturizer ever? Water. And water is so great that it works both inside and outside. You can't really eat most of your hair products, right? But you can drink some water. So if you're drinking a lot of water and using that water as a natural, free, for the most part, I mean you still pay your water bill, but free moisturizer, that's a big thing to add to your regimen. So a lot of people want to know how to build a regimen. Free moisturizer is water. Also, when you build your hair regimen, stick to it. I know we'll get tempted because we see a lot of ads, and we had a conversation about this earlier. I'm not going to go on my little rant, but there are a lot of companies now that are coming out with more and more products for natural hair, and they're marketing to us. But we have to be careful that we don't get caught up, because not everything that we see that's marketed to us is good for us. But when you find a regimen or a product that works for you, just stick with it. Because how long it's gonna take, it's not gonna work in 2 weeks, maybe not even in 2 months. Give it at least 3 to 4 months. And if you see that specific product or technique isn't working for you, then try something new. But try to stick to your regimen when you build a regimen. What do you need in a hair regimen? Can somebody tell me, when I talk about a hair regimen, what do you need? Moisturizer, hair sealant, leave-in conditioner, shampoo, conditioner, one more, deep conditioner, oil. Exactly. So if you remember those basic things, I thought you were saying something, then that will help you to keep things simple. Shampoo, a conditioner, especially if you like co-washing, a conditioner will come in very handy. a deep conditioner, because what's important is deep condition it how often? What's ideal? Once a month? Every 2 weeks? How often do you wash your hair though? I always say as often as you can. That's gonna vary for everybody, because what I do for my hair may be different for what you do with your hair, but it will still work. Why? Because this is your regimen, and this is your individual journey, and this is your individual natural hair. You understand where I'm going with this? So, even though I'm giving you tips, and I'm giving you my opinion and sharing my experience, your journey will be individual for you. So don't always, because when I went out and bought all those products that I saw on YouTube, do you think any of them worked for me? Maybe a couple. But for the most part, they didn't work because my hair just didn't like those things. So then the next thing is learn about your hair. Anybody ever heard of porosity? Porosity? Who can tell me? I wish I had a gift. Who can tell me what porosity means?
It's how much liquid or water.
If I'm not mistaken, it's how much water your hair is able to take in and retain. Like the porosity is how quickly your hair takes in moisture and how long it stays.
Right, so if your hair is low porosity, then what do you think is going to happen? Your hair is going to repel the moisture. So as much as you will moisturize and moisturize, your hair is not absorbing that moisture. So what's important for you is to get products that are going to be absorbed into your hair shaft better than others. There are certain oils that will do that. Can anybody name a couple of those for me? Jojoba? I heard jojoba. Shea butter.
Jamaican
Coconut. Exactly. Castor oil doesn't do it quite as much. It's a little bit harder to absorb in the shaft than some of the lighter oils like jojoba oil and coconut oil. Olive oil, yes, to a certain extent. Shea butter, for real, but you have to be careful with shea butter because shea butter will also weigh your hair down if you're not careful. So if low porosity means that your hair is not absorbing the moisture, what do you think high porosity means? It's the opposite. It's absorbing too much. And so much so that you moisturize and you layer it on, but as soon as you walk out the door, it feels like you didn't do anything. And I can tell you that from experience that my hair is very high porosity. I can dip my head in a bucket of water right now and walk out the door and it looks like I didn't do anything. I could layer on a whole tub of moisturizer and by tomorrow it looks like nothing happened. So with high porosity hair, it's important that you layer. And layer as often as you can in between wash days. So let's say you wash your hair today, you put a leave-in in, the water is moisture to begin with, and then you put a leave-in moisture. You can add a little bit of moisturizer, moisture again, and then what you do is then you seal all that in. So you can seal it in with an oil, you can seal it in with shea butter. I know I've tried M.A.K Natural's hair smoothie, the shea butter smoothie. A product like that, that's shea butter based, is great for sealing the hair. And that's gonna help to keep the moisture in longer. You look really confused. Am I confusing you? Yeah? I'm sorry. Okay. So that's some of the things you have to think about when you're thinking about how to take care of your hair and how to make sure that it stays moisturized, because dry hair will get brittle and it will break, and that's when you have problems with hair length or hair growth. And because your hair will always grow, let me retract a little bit. Your hair will always be growing. As long as you're alive and breathing, your hair is growing. But what's important is, are you retaining any of that length that you're growing? And that's when the hair care comes in. That's where hair styling comes in. So let me talk about styling for a minute. For some people, wearing their hair loose every single day, in braid outs or afro or however, it works, it's fine. But for the most part, protective styling for a lot of us is really helpful, especially if your main goal is to grow your hair. What are protective styles? What are some protective styles you can do? I see a lot of them in this audience. Twist. That's right, and exactly. Anything that's going to protect your hair from the elements will be a protective style. Even if that means putting in braids, wearing a wig for a little bit. Be careful because the wigs will mess up your edges and you don't want that either. Twists or braids or plaits. Doing like a roll pin tuck like your hair is, that's beautiful. Things like that will help to protect your hair from the elements, and that's going to help you, for one, keep your hair out of the elements, like I said, but also it will help you to keep your hands out of your hair more. Because what do we tend to do? We do this, and we play with it, and we play with it, and we play with it, and then over time, you're causing damage too. You're causing breakage. The more you twirl it, the more you play with it, that's going to cause damage as well. So a lot of times, especially if I'm going to work or something throughout the day, my hair is in twists. Because wearing my hair like this every day is not going to be good for my hair. So I talked about the products, but what about tools? What are some tools that you think we will be able to use on our Afro-textured hair? Wide tooth comb. Brushes, but what kind of brushes? What kind of brush do you use on your hair? Normal brushes. Bristle brush. But any kind of brush that's not going to put too much tension on your hair is going to be good. A lot of naturals use the detangling, the Denman detangling brush. You can find cheaper alternatives to that brush that's going to be better at helping you detangle your hair. Also, it's important, especially if you have problems with detangling, invest in a good detangler. Because if you're detangling and you're pulling too much on your hair, then you're going to be ripping it and causing even more breakage, and you don't want that. So some key points I wanted to reiterate. Just have patience. It's not going to happen overnight, and there are many, many days you're going to get discouraged, because not only is the journey going to be difficult on some days, you're going to struggle with your hair on some days, and then you'll have people telling you that your hair is not cute. They'll tell you that your hair is dry and nappy, and all the other adjectives that I'm sure you've heard or can think of. But just remember that regardless of what everyone else is saying, this is how you were made. This is how God created you. And He says that we are all beautifully and wonderfully made in His image. So forget that. A lot of people, especially when I was transitioning, were like, why? Your hair's going to be nappy and dry and you're going to look like Miss Seeley. I've heard that plenty of times. Who knows Miss Seeley? From The Color Purple. The young ones may not know this. But I was like, that's fine. I'll be Miss Seeley, but guess what? It's the natural me. I don't have extra chemicals going into my body. And I am beautiful this way. And it's a part of having your voice. Because a lot of us don't realize that it's not just wearing your natural hair. It's about telling the world that we accept who we are and we're comfortable in our own skin. So have patience. Build your regimen, stick with it, don't give up, and just know that you have a really wonderful community of natural hair woman, powerful woman, amazing woman supporting you on your journey. And I wish I had that growing up, because I was surrounded by everybody with a wig or relaxed hair. My aunt relaxed my hair when I was 10, because she said I was the only one in my class with nappy hair. And I was told that because I had nappy hair and I was dark skinned, that I wasn't beautiful. So a lot of what the natural community is doing right now is so empowering, and this is why I go around when I am invited and just speak, because I get young girls in the audience that are getting teased at school, and they're hearing all kinds of things. It broke my heart when I heard my 10-year-old sister come home from school one day and told me that she thought she was ugly because the kids said she was dark, and they wouldn't play with her because her hair was nappy. And that made me, because on days when I feel like I don't want to be bothered anymore, because it's easier. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's easier to have relaxed hair. You brush it and go. You can twirl, you can do all these things. If I twirl right now, my hair's not gonna move too much. It's not gonna be like in the movies, you know? But I am motivated for her sake, and for your kids' sake, and your daughters and your nieces and your granddaughters. So those are just my main points. I'm gonna take some questions if you guys have any. Yes, go ahead. I didn't hear you. To a certain extent, yes. If you dye your hair, do you damage your hair? And you can damage your hair by dyeing it. The truth is, the dye is a chemical. So just like putting a relaxer on your hair will cause some damage, the dye will cause some damage too. But you can take care of your hair to where it doesn't cause as much damage as it would if you weren't caring for it properly. So what the dye is gonna do is gonna make your hair drier, it's gonna make your hair more brittle, and so you have to make the conscious decision that if you're gonna dye your hair, you're gonna take care of that dyed part better than the rest of your hair. And I thought that I wasn't gonna be able to notice much of a difference, but I did over time. Realized that when I dyed the front portion of my hair, it was drier. I had to add more moisturizer to that section. I had to add more deep conditioner to that section, and I had to make sure that I was even more carefully detangling that section, because it did get more brittle and dry. Yes?
What would you say is your regimen, going from the hair washing routine to daily maintenance?
I shampoo every 2 weeks. In between that, I will co-wash like every week. I'll deep condition every time I shampoo my hair, because the shampoo will also suck a lot of that moisture out, and you want to put that back in. And then after I shampoo and deep condition, I add a leave-in, which my leave-in doubles as a detangler for me. I add my moisturizer and then my sealant, which usually it's either oil, and I use a mixture of castor oil and olive oil, and then, or I will use something like a shea butter smoothie or a shea butter mixture of some sort. And then throughout the week, I'll moisturize again as needed. So that could mean every 2 days or every 3 days. Yes.
Do you use personal coach?
No, a lot of what I do is answering questions or sharing my information on social media, and then when I'm invited to any natural hair events or expos, then I'll share my information there. But absolutely. I mean, I don't do it professionally, but I have friends who ask for information, and I'll share or coach them personally, but I've never added the title of personal coach. But I mean, it's something that I do unofficially, I guess. Any more? Oh, question.
What is a good decon for the hair?
come back there because I can't hear you. So she's asking about one product that I do use is and I usually don't mention products because like I said, products will work differently for everybody, but I have been using the Kinky Curly Knot today. That's been a pretty good detangler for me. But then also another tip is to just get some cheap conditioner and add that to your hair before you start shampooing or washing your hair. And use that cheap conditioner to finger detangle a little bit first. And then you can use the wide tooth comb and go through it. And what that pre-detangling will help to do is to ease that process for afterwards. Because you'll find that you'll get a lot of those knots out, because when you start shampooing, all you're doing is working all those knots in even more, and then it becomes even harder at the end. So if you pre-detangle a little bit, even in the shower under running water, that'll help you a lot too. I don't do it overnight, but this process that I'm just explaining to you is the same pre-poo situation. It's the same idea that you pre-detangle or prepare your hair for the shampoo process. I saw your hand.
What happens when they put extensions in your hair for a long time?
Extensions can pull on your hair follicles, and that can cause damage too if you're wearing them for an extended period of time. I always recommend braids are a great protective style. I have done them several times in the past, but you want to make sure that you're not doing those too tight. Even if it's, you know how you braid your hair and then you sew in the bundles. Make sure those aren't being sewn in too tight, because that will put a lot of tension on your hair. And a lot of people find that they have traction alopecia, and that's from wearing extensions for too long and too tight. Yes. The alopecia that I had, because it was an autoimmune condition, because there are different types of alopecia, mine had to be treated by a doctor, and I went to the dermatologist and he treated me medically. But traction alopecia, if it's caught early, you can do scalp massages so it doesn't get worse, and that will help stimulate regrowth of the hair in that area. But if it's over a prolonged period to where, I'm sorry? Like if it spreads. If you're having like several different bald spots all over, then that's something I would recommend you go to a doctor and check out. Because usually the traction alopecia, it's when one section is being pulled too tightly. And usually for us, it's around the edges. But if it's a different type of alopecia that you have, it could manifest as little spots all over. And that's what I realized I had. That's why I went to saw a dermatologist. Any more questions? Okay, thank you guys so much for listening. Give a big round of applause to Michelle and M.A.K Natural for putting on this event. I had a great time. I had a wonderful time listening to everyone, all the speakers. And make sure before you leave, you walk around and greet everyone at the booths here, okay?
I want to thank each, I'm the natural guy around here. We want to thank each person for participating here. First, we want to thank you. And for those that you know that are gone, please extend a thank you for us from Natural Family. And for our special guests. We want to say thank you to Tashia, and she's been a wonderful person. You'll get to know her. You'll find her. She's just a beautiful person. And for Tori, Bonafide Style, and for the people who are gone, we want to say thank you. And from most person, Ebony. Ebony, could you come over here, please? We want to say thank you. Don't worry about you. We just want to say thank you. She is a wonderful person. And this event didn't give us enough time to tell you who Ebony is. If you hang around us a little bit, you will know who is Ebony. We just want to say thank you very much.
Ebony, I want to say that I love you and I appreciate your time and support. I couldn't do it without you. Thank you. Tashia, all the way from Las Vegas. I know you're busy, schedule and time. Appreciate it. You're so humble. You are humble. Stay humble. Appreciate you. Tori, where you at? This is another humble servant right here. I'm serious, I'm so serious. So humble and kind.
Stop it. Stop it.
Okay, we have a door prize we want to give away. We have a ticket stub. There's a lot here. Some people left already. 807195. 807-1195. 95? No. 807-212. That's on the ticket. 807-213. 807-165. 155.
Can somebody just win the thing?
Mama, you have it?
155?
Oh, you have it. What you have? Let me see. She has 155.
Come over here.
Thank
you for coming. Appreciate your time. Thank you. LaQuanda? Let's go.
Good night, everyone who's left. Recently in October, we reached 1,000 likes on Facebook, and so we had a raffle for 2 of our products,
Which will be the M.A.K Natural Bubblegum for the kids and the M.A.K Natural Strawberry Fragrance. And we had a winner, and our winner is here tonight. And we would like for Angel Johnson to come to the front. Angel!
Don't be shy.
Aaliyah Cherry. Alexis Cherry. Try again. LaShonda McFadden. And the second winner will be Shirley Murdoch. Shirley Murdoch.
I'll take it.
And lastly, we have Nicole McLeod. Nicole McLeod. Final raffle. To the dollar raffle that we have. Okay. Last bit of entries. 807179. 807192. Do we have? Okay. So we thank each of you for coming out, for taking the time, for opening your ears, opening your hearts. We hope that you learned something. We hope that you got some natural hair tips. We hope you got some makeup tips. We hope you bought some CDs from some of these beautiful musicians and vocalists. We hope you enjoyed the vendors and that you enjoyed the food. This was a non-stop event. And I want to thank again Michelle and her husband Ian for all that they did, all that they've done, all that they're planning on doing. And we just know that God is going to bless them because they are first starting with the heart to give. And so we want to say thank you again. Again, you can find Michelle on Facebook at M.A.K Natural. You can find her on Instagram and Twitter. You can find Cloak Inc. CLOAKINC on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of the different Toshida Shia Shaw, remember, Purple Wings. Who else? Bonafide Stylist, Tori, Life of Freedom Center. Every single person, follow us, look us up, stay connected. There's so much more to come. So thank you all for coming and have a blessed night.
Feel free to take pictures. It's open.